The zombie genre wouldn't be what we know today without George Romero's influence. In 1968, Night of the Living Dead introduced us to the apocalypse like never before. Later, Day of the Dead explored the depths of human despair, and Land of the Dead pushed the narrative further into a dystopian and complex vision. Today, however, we'll focus on what many consider his masterpiece, 1979's Dawn of the Dead. This film not only redefined the genre but also became an absolute horror classic. What makes this installment so special? Stay with me because today I bring you the complete review of this iconic zombie film. The world is being invaded by the living dead. Zombie hordes occupy rural areas, and the problem begins spreading into cities. The situation is chaotic. The structures of established order are crumbling. Police and military forces must try to control the situation, though morale and courage within their ranks start to falter. In some cases, they even have to force their way into buildings and residences to prevent people from hiding their deceased family members who later rise as zombies. Nobody knows what to do. Madness spreads freely. Two elite SWAT officers, a helicopter pilot, and his girlfriend decide to escape the city in a helicopter. Circumstances force them to land atop a large shopping mall. It appears to offer minimal safety guarantees, so they decide to barricade themselves inside, turning it into their temporary residence. However, they face their first challenge: clearing the mall of the multitude of zombies occupying the building and surrounding areas. This is the second installment in George Romero's zombie trilogy, which later expanded into a saga with the addition of a fourth part, Land of the Dead, in 2005. Romero's first movie, Night of the Living Dead, made in 1968 on a modest budget of $150,000, marked a new era in modern horror cinema, becoming an essential reference point and setting a high standard for future productions. However, his subsequent films, There's Always Vanilla, 1970, Season of the Witch, 1973, The Crazies, 1975, and Martin, 1976, did not meet box office expectations. Romero decided then to revisit the theme that made him famous, providing another dose of despair and viscera spread across the big screen. For this film, Romero wrote his longest and most detailed screenplay, meticulously detailing each scene and shot. According to Romero, the film is a super fable about the 70s, much like Night of the Living Dead mirrored the rapidly changing late 60s. Dawn of the Dead, by contrast, serves as an allegory of the self-sufficient and egocentric attitudes of the late 70s. Through satire about hyper-consumerism, Romero captures the mood of that era. The zombies are the ultimate expression of that consumerist fever because they literally consume even human beings. Naturally, the only possible ecosystem for these zombies had to be a shopping mall. Even when barred entry, they linger outside, awaiting an opportunity to re-enter. As one of the protagonists says, The shopping mall was an important place in their lives, and they returned there subconsciously, driven by old habits. Most of the film was shot at Monroeville Mall, located in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh. This mall became an iconic location in horror cinema, with much of the action and symbolism revolving around this enclosed space. Dawn of the Dead, shot 10 years after Night of the Living Dead, is undoubtedly the best film of the zombie saga. It's not the beginning of a plague. We are already immersed in the peak of the crisis. Zombies are everywhere, presenting a continuous threat. Chaos reigns, creating a supremely unsettling atmosphere that Romero exploits masterfully. It is pure horror cinema. The numerous violent scenes inside the shopping mall are legendary, and tension steadily mounts as the protagonist's despair is tinged with pathetic hope and faith in possible salvation. They have everything a human could desire at their disposal. They are safe in their own personal fortress, yet surrounded by a silent, hungry multitude waiting for the chance to destroy them. They are masters of nothing, as vividly illustrated when a gang of Hell's Angels, led by the legendary Tom Savini, storms the mall, destroying everything in their path. Romero took 3 months to complete filming, wrapping up in spring 1978. Upon its release, it grossed nearly $1 million in its opening week in New York alone. Despite its success, American censorship closely monitored editing, attempting to conform the film to MPAA classification standards. The film maintains a good pace and is easy to follow despite its length. Speaking of which, there is currently an extended 139-minute version available in 4K quality. Tom Savini was in charge of the special effects, and his exceptional skill left some scenes of violence and cannibalism permanently etched in viewers' memories. Dario Argento was involved in the film's production and suggested hiring the music group Goblin for the soundtrack, which was later reused in Bruno Mattei's 1980 film Hell of the Living Dead. Notable moments include the SWAT team's raid on the zombie-infested building, highlighting a genuinely apocalyptic tone filled with horrifying scenes, husbands attacking their wives, zombies locked in basements being eliminated, limbs being torn off and devoured. This raid escalates into a spiral of violence, causing even some policemen to lose their minds. One officer, intoxicated by gunpowder and bloodlust, has to be shot by his colleagues to prevent a massacre of innocents. Also unforgettable is the terrifying attack by 2 zombie children, a machete blow to a zombie's head, numerous exploding heads courtesy of Savini, and the Hare Krishna zombie, a quirky touch repeated in Day of the Dead, 1986, featuring zombie clowns, rugby players, and brides. Dawn of the Dead received a remake in 2004, directed by Zack Snyder. Personally, I believe it doesn't match the original, as Romero's film is far more atmospheric and remains not only my favorite of the saga, but also the greatest zombie movie of all time.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Remember to activate the notification bell to stay updated with the channel. We will revisit the best horror classics and B-movies of all time. If you future videos, please leave them in the comments below. See you in the next video, and thank you very much for watching.